Hey, Chase Craig here with Own Boise at Keller Williams Realty Boise, and I'm excited to go over the market update for you for January of 2022. Now, I know this video is way too long and most of you will not watch it, so here are the top 3 things you're going to take away if you choose to watch the rest of this video. Number 1 is the biggest impact on affordability, which is interest rates. We're going to be discussing what's happening and where they might be going. Number 2, we're going to be talking about inventory. There's less than half a month's supply of inventory in Ada County, all the way up to $1 million. So what does that mean? And then lastly, we're going to be talking about demand, what we're actually seeing in the field and what you can expect if you're a buyer or seller in this market. So if you're interested in that, watch the rest of this video. All right, guys, you're sticking around for the rest of the video, so let's dive in. What are interest rates doing and what does it actually mean for you? So interest rates are on the move and they're moving upward. What that means is that the rate at which you will pay interest on your loan is higher today than it was last month even. In fact, we've seen, I just had a buyer close on a home last month with a 30-year fixed at 3%. And now today, right this second, as we record this video on February 11th, excuse me, we are seeing interest rates almost at 4%. Now that 0.75% or 1% increase can have a really big impact on the affordability that you would have if you're looking to buy a home. In fact, you can look up the numbers on a simple trick if you want. Go just type in mortgage calculator in Google. It'll pull up a simple mortgage calculator. Go look at what the payment is on a price you're looking at. Let's say $500,000 at a 3% interest rate versus $500,000 at a 4% interest rate. And just see how big of an influence that has. Now, the reason I wanted to bring up interest rates is what do we think is going to happen within the future? Pretty much every expert agrees that interest rates are going to be on the rise. Now, even though the Federal Reserve has not actually bumped the federal funds rate yet, they are talking about it rampantly. And that has caused mortgage rates to move ahead of that. So the 30-year fixed, again, it's at 3.875 as I'm sitting here right this second. And we had people closing at under 3, 3 or 4 months ago. So that's going to have a big influence on affordability. And really what it's going to do is take some buyers that could be able to buy at a certain price and now they can't. So let's say they could have qualified for $450 or $500. Now they maybe can only qualify for $450. So if you're a seller in this market, you need to understand that over time, if interest rates continue to tick up, it will push down on demand because you'll have less people that can afford the same home. So less people that can afford it. At some point, the pricing has to calm down or even go down. So that's the first thing we're looking at. And what does this mean in terms of pricing? Like, are we going to see prices fall off a cliff? No, we're not. It's going to take some time. And that leads us right into number 2, which was inventory. So I've referenced this before in our videos. We have these lovely market dynamics that our awesome office at Keller Williams provides to us. And these are just straight data right out of the multiple listing service that we use. And it helps us really understand what's happening in the market. So I referenced this in the intro to this video that we have less than half a month's supply of inventory up to $1 million in price. So let me just give you some perspective on that. What that means is based on the rate at which we've been selling homes for the last 12 months, we only have 15 days worth of inventory. So if no new listings came on the market in the next 15 days, we'd have 0 homes on the market. Now, I've said this before, but it's worth mentioning again. A balanced market is somewhere between 5 and 7 months. So if you have 5 months or less of supply, that's considered a seller's market. If you have 7 months or more of supply, that's considered a buyer's market. So when we're at half a month's supply, that is still a tremendous seller's market. So sellers are still getting the terms they want, the price they want, And oftentimes they're able to pick and choose the offer they want because they've been getting multiple offers. So, when we talk about interest rates going up and that's going to potentially, put pressure on pricing, well, it's like, think about it like turning a cruise ship. You're not going to turn that cruise ship on a dime. It's a slow moving, methodical turn for us to really see those changes. So that brings us into the third thing, which is demand. And really what I wanted to talk about is what we're seeing here at Own Boise. We're seeing that homes that are a little bit more affordable, let's just say under $500,000, for example, in Ada and Canyon County, they're still getting massive amounts of interest and offers. In fact, we had one just last week that had over 10 offers, and we were able to get a cash offer significantly over the asking price. So that's an amazing opportunity out there if you are considering selling. And with this inventory levels that we're looking at, all the way up to $1 million, you're at 0.4 months supply. Even at the 1 to 1.5 million range, you're only at 1 month supply. So if you're a buyer, you're probably not seeing a lot to choose from. And if you are a buyer who has to buy, then you're gonna fight for the right home. When you finally find one that makes sense for you, you're gonna fight for it. And if there's someone else that's wanting to fight for it, well, then what's gonna happen. You're gonna pay, at or above market value. So what does all this mean? I get real estate professionals, I get clients, I get investors. They ask me often, either through these YouTube videos or if they're in our client appreciation program and they see these private videos that we send, they say, well, what's going to happen in the market? When's it going to crash, or when's it going to change? Well, given this situation where we have such high demand here in the Boise area, and even though prices are at all-time highs and interest rates are starting to creep up, which means affordability is, starting to slip away, and it's slipped away for a lot of people already, so please don't yell at me. I didn't select the prices. But it's slipping away even further. You might think, well, this is the beginning of the end. And that would be a logical thought. What I can tell you, though, is that because the demand's still so high and because the inventory is still so low, even if this was the start of a correction, it would take months and months and months to really start to see that. A couple other things happening in the Boise area here is we do not have enough home sites for builders to keep up with demand. We have way more people moving in than are moving out. So what do? At some level, interest rates, don't really matter. If someone wants to buy a house, they're going to figure it out. Like I just said, we had multiple offers and we ended up accepting a cash offer. Guess what? Cash, doesn't care what the interest rate is. So will the interest rates have an impact on the long term of real estate? 100%. Even in the short term, we might see some people say, it's just too expensive today. I'm going to sit on the sidelines. But until we get enough of that demand sitting on the sidelines, you can expect to have low inventory and prices continue to creep up because that's the only place that they can go. So how long does that last? I would be lying to you if I said I knew. I really don't. I think for the foreseeable future, the next 3 to 6 months, I think you're going to see prices, trend upwards. Not at the rate we saw last year. We saw 35%. So that was roughly, 2, 3, almost 3% per month. We're not going to see that rate, but I wouldn't be surprised if we ended this year somewhere at 10 to 15% higher than we started. Now, again, I have no idea, and barring some cataclysmic event or something we don't even know that's going to take place, your best bet is that if you need to buy a home, take advantage of the rates before they continue to rise. And if you're interested in selling a home, there's never been a better time to sell than today. So reach out to one of your favorite Own Boise agents, or comment on this video, or let us know how we can help you. And if you like this data in your hands, we've got a link on our YouTube page where you can get this, or just reach out to your favorite owned Boise agent and they can send it to you, even for this specific sub-market that you like. For example, if you really like Kuna or north end of Boise or Eagle, we can get you the data for those areas specifically. So again, I'm Chase Craig with Own Boise, and I really appreciate you sticking around for the entire video. Please let us know, what kind of questions and comments do you have about the market, and what would you like to know in upcoming videos? We'd love to help you out with that too. Thanks. Have a great day.